Hello.
Hello, Sally. How's it cooking?
Oh, good.
All right.
I'm loving this course. I'm about a week into it. I'm in module 2 now.
Very good. Gotta love the module 2 questions. So I'm reading through your thing. Healthy food, 20 years, expert at surgical oncologist, 5, different topic, worn out. Thousands of patients through coping with serious emotionally charged illnesses have learned volumes. That's some good stuff right there.
Well,
Sally, I think you're onto it.
Well, yeah, I came into this training. The reason I signed up for this training was specifically to figure out how I'm going to reach my niche of people that are growing and, interested in gardening and, blah, blah, blah. And then as I get into the training, I'm going, maybe that's not what I should. Maybe that's not.
No, I think you're onto it. So just so Sally posted quite a bit here, but in essence, she started thinking one thing. Now she's realizing that she maybe needs to do something else. And what I want to say, first of all, is you can always change this, right? This is not something you're married to.
Right.
However, when you say that your biggest joy was taking a scared family and bringing them back to earth, helping them forge a plan forward, helping them to connect to their spiritual roots, that I loved. Right. I think that's where it's at. Seriously.
Okay.
Yep. So then I'm just reading the rest of your question. Okay. So merging two together. I don't hate that idea, but I think that it overcomplicates it for first the blade, right? Like then the ear, then the full cord in the ear, because now you're going to be kind of double-minded in a way, because you're going to be ping-ponging back and forth instead of just executing the plan that you've worked for 20 years or 30 years, which was taking a scared family. So you already know how to do all that. Yeah. So I think that's where you should be, and just test it and see, because my gosh, think about, so the other thing what we look for in this process is we look for size of problem we can solve, right?
Right.
The bigger the problem, the more kingdom impact, period. And the bigger the problem, the more you can harvest. So the more you can get paid for it. But that's secondary to impact. And between these two market gifts, I think helping these folks is a massive problem. It's not, I don't believe it's going to get any worse as our obesity rates increase and our healthcare issues increase and our sicknesses increase. That's just getting, like, you're on the, that's unfortunately a growing niche.
Right.
So if you can be in there and help people.
And my resistance to that was the fact that I was so glad to take off that hat a few years ago, and it's so refreshing to deal with something like grow a plant. However, the joy, like I said, the joy, I do go back and I remember the joy of exactly that, taking a family that's just scared and they're in that situation and it's nobody's fault, and you have a way of bringing them back to sanity again and really connecting with their spiritual roots.
Yes. Now, here's the cool part, is some of the things that you didn't like about doing that, some of the things that were draining, you'll be able to load balance a bit because you're working now within a system that you create versus you're being stuck within the boundaries of the healthcare system. So part of that could be client selection. There could be certain things that you just don't want to deal with because it's too much, perhaps.
Right.
Or I don't know what those things are, but the things that removed joy, you are now in control of that because you're the head of it. So there's ways you can construct your program to maximize the joy, maximize the yay and minimize the boo.
Right. Cool. Okay. All right. That's the direction I'm going to head then. Love
it. Good stuff. Any other questions? You good?
I'm good for today.
Awesome, Sally.
All right. Thanks.
Okay. Bye-bye. All right. Next up, we have Susan. Well, we got the ladies represented. Dudes, what the heck you doing, man? You guys are just sitting there putzing around. These ladies are running circles around y'all. All right, Susan.
All right, another Susan. Okay.
Yeah, double Susans. That's pretty cool. Okay, so need help on my Facebook groups and making sure my mini offer in the right direction. Love it. All right, how can I help?
Okay, so we talked a couple weeks ago, and so I've been in accounting, and my husband was and no longer is ever since
Roofer?
2019. He was a custom silage harvester.
Ah, okay.
So I did his books for, since 2009. So
Did we talk with Lance on a Thursday a couple weeks ago?
No, I was going to jump on, but I didn't. And I was just in the middle of going back and forth and just thinking maybe I was being too picky and I was just going to go ahead and try to get on the harvesters websites and just try to start engaging with them. But I'm not having a lot of success in that group. So I wanted to get with you and see what your thoughts were.
Got it.
And if you want me to jump on Thursday, I can also. So whatever
No, we can help you today. We talked with somebody who was in accounting and then was talking about doing some different things. And she said her husband had a business. So I wasn't sure if this was,
okay.
So walk me through what pain do you solve in the marketplace?
Okay, so what I want to do is I'm obviously account background is bookkeeping and I really love it. So I thought what I could do is work with businesses on their bookkeeping. I see that there's a lot of problems with cash flow, a lot of problems with lack of time, and a lot of problems with like finding people to trust. And then a lot of people that I've seen on Facebook, I'm just trying to, I swath through and go through a lot of stuff. And it just seems like a lot of people are having problems. They don't like to do accounting. They don't want to do the bookkeeping. So I kind of wanted to see if I could move in that direction.
Have you done it for small businesses before?
Yeah. I've been in accounting since, all my life. So I worked in accounting departments. Now I don't I don't have my CPA. So I just do basic accounting. Like I do end of the month stuff. I do I maintain their books and I balance out. So
what kind of businesses have you helped? Like which businesses have you worked with that you produce the best results with? Clarity or reduction of pain?
I really haven't done that much other than my husband's business. I did 2 very small companies, but I didn't do it for very long at all. I did an area where the housing department, they lived in a community. And so I did their books, but it was only for a few months. So, and another one, I just did a lady and I didn't do hers for very long because she ended up moving. So my biggest was just my husband's.
And tell me again what he did. Silage?
Yeah, he's a custom silage chopper. So he just went to farmers and dairies and chopped their feed for their cattle.
I see.
And I was on there, but there's not very much engagement on those Facebook groups. And then I know you said to pick one. It's best to pick one specific business to work with. And so I kind of wanted to see how you could help me there on how I could direct myself into a Facebook group,
So what you want to do is you want to think of, this is just a mental model that I find very helpful for a lot of different things. So you want to think in terms of global and local. Okay, so cities are within a state, states are within the country, right? Okay. Or parent child. You could say a city is the child of the parent state. So the reason I say that is because custom silage falls under the umbrella or the parent of farming.
Yeah.
Right. So custom silage would be a subcomponent or subcategory of farming.
Right.
So what if you just focused on, what if you went up a level? So if you went from small town to city and tried that. And if you did bookkeeping for locally owned farmers or all of the different pieces involved with that.
I did think about that, but I don't know if I feel like I'm educated enough on their, like when you go up to a step, then they're like maintaining, they buy cattle and sell cattle and
Well,
I'm
you're
like,
gonna,
I don't know.
well, yeah, that's gonna come down to you. Like, are you more comfortable working with a business in the farming industry as a whole? Or are
No,
you more comfortable working with a plumber or a contractor or an online business? That's going to drive from you. And I was just thinking, because if your husband was in the farming business,
yeah,
you might have more industry knowledge. But if you're uncomfortable with that, then you got to go somewhere else and pick something else.
okay,
Meaning, if you're going to stay with the books, then you got to pick like a different type of business. If you don't want to work with farmers, then pick something else: plumbers, online businesses, high ticket coaches, you know, affiliate marketer businesses. Because you don't want to just say, I do books for every business on planet Earth.
right, yeah, I don't want to do that, yeah,
So that's going to come from you and your experience. That's why we start with the questions of like, well, who have you worked with? Who did you like the best? Who did you get the best results with? And then
Okay.
you're like, well, I tried the silage, but there's not very many or wasn't very
Yeah.
active. So then I'm like, well, stay within the farmer niche and go
Right.
to like a sibling. What's a sibling of silage? And if you don't like that, then you got to just, go up a higher level to other type of businesses. But you can't get around picking one to start with. Make sense?
Yeah, it does, yeah, okay. So I want to add one more question. Okay, so in accounting, if I'm going to stick with accounting and do that, was trying to go back and forth on my mini offers.
Well,
Trying to,
you got to pick who you're going to work with first, because that will help you
Okay.
calibrate your mini offer. If you
Okay.
skip that and you're kind of unclear on who you want to work with, then
Okay.
your mini offers will become diluted. So that's why you got to work in sequence. And so your mini offers for a custom silage farmer or harvester will be a lot different than your mini offers for a local plumbing business.
Okay.
Even
Yeah.
though some of the skills and principles will be the same, right? Accounting is accounting at the highest level, but you always got to go in the right order, and you got to lock and load your business mission statement, who you're helping with what, and then from there your mini offers will come.
Okay.
And sometimes it's like a flywheel. Whereas you make a decision, you go into the marketplace, you drop so many offers, you see some responses or lack of responses, and then you tweak it and you refine it a little bit. That's like the optimization cycle of try, fail, adjust. So I don't want you to get stuck on any steps. I want you to just move and take action, because that market feedback is precious, and it'll
Okay.
help you calibrate further. So what I would encourage you to do for today is drop a list of like 5 types of businesses, right? Narrow it down to a couple, flip a coin if you have to, and then go online and find those people, start the engagement process, and then modify whatever mini offers you currently come up with. Just refine them, just tweak them just a little bit so that they're spot on for that particular business type you've selected. Does that make sense, Susan?
Okay. Yep. Yep. It does. Yep.
Cool.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do that. That makes sense. I just didn't know which way I should go because I was just kind of stumbling, and I was just like, I wanted to make sure before I move forward how I should handle finding that other group.
Yeah. And I wouldn't worry about groups so much. Try to just zero in on the occupation first, because it's easier to find.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks, Paul.
All right. You bet, Susan. All right. Next up, Kevin. Kevin, you are unmuted.
Thank you, Paul. We talked last Thursday with you and Lance about sort of restructuring me based on my corporate education and training experience with large corporations, and sort of taking that to the niche of smaller businesses. And I've been writing some business mission statements that Dustin's been giving me some feedback, but we keep getting to narrowing down the focus. Lance had suggested that on the online businesses, that there's probably a pretty good opportunity to take that, which I've sort of experienced with bigger organizations and apply to smaller organizations. But I'm having some trouble getting down to specific, really narrow it down to the size that I need to get. An organization that's probably 1 to 3 people, I'm not sure the value that I could add to them. But there's a sweet spot in there that they're a small business, but yet what size and which business and where to focus on the size of business that would be needed for things to help them with their turnover, the lack of performance with their employees, corporate culture, things like that.
Got it. So what is that minimum sweet spot? Like I work with businesses at least X, and that's going to have to draw from your experience. So what, and you can change it later. Like what is your gut telling you, your heart? Like just pick a number.
That, you know, in the past, I mean, I've dealt with some of my audiences were 100, you know, a couple 100,000 people down to 25 people. You know, so it's a big range, but that's what I'm struggling with, getting to that root. What is the minimal size of group that I would want to work with or be able to really help them with what I've done, as well as then how to target that, you know, how to target such a group. Well, let's just say we picked online businesses as an example. We tried to narrow down the focus of what that is.
Yeah, let's do this. Because if we try to figure out both of those things at the same time, now we're double-minded. So what we want to do is step one is we need to figure out the minimum size people. And let's not think about anything else until we've made that initial decision. So 200,000, too big. 25, can you deliver value to a company size with 25 people?
Yes.
Done. Then that's your minimum size. So now when you're doing everything, you're calibrating to that. And over time, you'll get better at doing that. But to find these folks, you want to look for job titles that are CEO, entrepreneur, business owner, those type of occupations. And then to find the online business owner, you could do that through groups, different groups that would have those people. And I wouldn't worry too much about the online or offline. I think the primary lever point for you with your skills is they got to have a batch of people, like minimum 25. So just start there. And then over time, you'll start to find and identify who in which type of business you can most easily connect with through Facebook. And then later on, we can get it more targeted when we get you in, move you into paid ads and whatnot. But for now, we just want to get you connecting with businesses that have at least 25 employees and get your mini offers in front of those. We do that, and then the rest will take care of itself, and you'll be able to kind of iterate and optimize it, right? You start posting these offers, you're talking to people on the phone, and all of them own online X type of businesses, or a good percentage of them do. Then we can just go back and you can figure out where you found them, right? By looking at those people, looking at their Facebook profiles. Oh, they were in this group. Oh, wow, they're all in this group. This group's really good. You see what I'm saying there?
Yeah. So is the focus as you start to find your audience, or, you know, hit or attack, you know, target folks, is it targeting small businesses of 25 people, or is it targeting online
small
businesses?
25, because that is your greatest constrictor. That's your greatest. So you'll find plenty of online businesses with 3 people.
Yep.
So online businesses isn't the primary factor. The primary factor is 25 people, because whether they're an online business or an offline business, if they have 25 people, you can deliver value. Do you see that?
Yes. Yes.
So that then becomes the primary filter.
Okay.
Do you see how I did that? Do you see the logic with that?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. It's just like an if-then type of a logic framework. So that's how you want to start. And when we're starting, we want to keep it as simple as possible, right? Because we fail because we don't work or we overcomplicate it. So just keep it really simple and try to figure out some groups, some occupations that have those people that would own a business of 25 people or more, and just start there. And then over time, you'll start to spot the patterns of where they are and where they aren't. But today, right now, it would be near impossible to figure out all of those metrics out of the gate. So therefore, you just want to simplify it and be like, you know what? If I'm talking to an entrepreneur that has 25 people on his team, I can help them. I don't care if they're a plumber or a digital business coach.
Yes.
And then just start there.
Very good. Thank you, sir.
All
Appreciate
right,
it.
you bet, Kevin. Yes. All right, next up we have Stephen. And Stephen doesn't have his hand raised. Stephen. All right, Stephen, you are unmuted.
Hey, good afternoon, Paul. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Good, thank you.
All right, your
Things.
question here is my idea. So what is your idea?
Oh, yeah, I didn't know how to type all that in. So I want to help adolescent boys, ages 10 to 19, but it would be more of a destination place. So like a week.
Well, tell me this.
getaway.
What is your background?
Ex-military, and then I've been a nurse for the last 15 years.
Got it. And what kind of a nurse?
Did pediatrics for 7 years, and then currently work in the operating room for the last 8 years or so.
Okay. And then before that, were you in the military?
Correct.
What did you do in the military?
Infantry, heavy weapons.
Okay. So what problem are you looking to solve in the marketplace, Stephen?
So pretty much we're having a generation of boys that are being raised either by single moms or, both parents that work, and they're just not nurturing their children. And then with all the stuff going on nowadays with transgenderism and just attack on the adult boy or adult male.
Yes. I love that. The reason I'm asking these questions is because if you go in this direction, you're going to have to go after the parents.
Correct.
Because first of all, your 10-year-old ain't going to have $5,000.
Right.
Your
right.
19-year-old ain't going to have $5,000. So you're building in a constraint into it. What I think would be a better approach potentially for you to consider, it's your business, so it's your decision. But what if you went after parents to help them build strong young men?
Well, that's the problem, and that's where the military training comes into effect. Like if you're not secluded, there's really no effect that takes place.
Gotcha.
Hence, boot camps and whatnot. You go into the Army, it's a boot camp of 9 weeks. You go in the Marines, it's a boot camp of 13 weeks. You're isolated. You're away.
Okay.
From.
What have you done this work before with this age bracket?
No, just no.
Okay. What kind of work have you done around this topic, and with whom?
So just my exposure to working with peds for 7 years.
Got it. Okay.
So, a lot of times when you're in the hospital setting, parents aren't there 24/7, and you're there for a 12-hour shift,
coaching
taking
them,
care
yeah.
of them, and then surgery as well. Parents aren't coming back to the operating room with their kids.
Now, have you primarily, wherever you're located or whatever that hospital is, dealing with a certain demographic of people?
I'm
like
sorry, what was that?
Like low income, middle income, high income, all across the board?
All across the board. So I used to work at the Cleveland Clinic in Cleveland, Ohio.
Okay.
So we've seen everything. There's
Got
nothing.
it. Okay. So have you gone through Mod 2 twice?
No, I just started 4 lessons in.
Okay. Into Mod 1 or into Mod 2?
Mod 2.
Okay, I see that here on your thing. Okay, Mod 2. What I want you to do is I want you to just keep going through that and potentially go through it twice. I don't hate the idea, but trying to do a boot camp is you're layering in another bottleneck, especially if you're trying to do it in person.
Right.
Now you could do a virtual boot camp, but again, those are the way I'd prefer you to do it is structure it with a timed course that is evergreen. So people can come in whenever is convenient for them. And then they have like a 4-week or a 6-week track that you run them through. Okay.
Okay.
But I think you're onto something. You're obviously wanting to do this. You've done it to a certain degree. You see the impact. You're going to have to communicate with the parents. There's no way
Right.
that you're going to be able to communicate directly with the kids. And unfortunately, Stephen, what that means is the kids that probably need it the most you're not going to be able to reach quite yet. And what you want to do is you want to build a business that is so successful and so profitable that you can then afford to do ministry to those kids. Make sense?
Makes sense.
But if you try to do ministry before you do business, then you're not going to have any success with any of it, because the business funds the ministry. So you want to look at who are these families that can help. And you do have plenty of good parents who are concerned about the path their kids are taking, the trajectory they're on, or better yet, plenty of parents that would like to go upstream a little bit and just be like, how do I raise godly men? What can I do with my boys when they're young to produce godly, strong men who have the identity that they need to have to be warriors in this world?
Well, and that was kind of going to be my little niche there, was going after, professional women, single women raising boys.
There you go. I love that. Yes. But you'd be
you know,
working with the parents to work with the kids. You wouldn't
Well, and
directly
that's
be
the other
working
thing
with the
is
kids.
time constraint. They're working full time. Are they going to be able to do this full time?
Well,
You
if it's
can't
important
really
enough
have
to
a
them,
woman raise a boy. So that's,
well, then don't do that. Go with the married people, or go with the single dads.
gotcha.
Yeah. And as far as the time thing, Stephen, the bottom line is you go look at those people's phones and they'll be like, I don't have time. And they're on media for 4 hours a day. People will put time into whatever's important to them, period.
True.
So go find the people that don't have that loser's excuse of, I don't have any time,
Mhm.
and work with them. So I like that idea. Single dads, or even single mom, because I mean, can a single mom raise a kid? Is it ideal? No. But is it better than nothing? Yes.
Right.
And maybe
right.
part of what you could do, Stephen, is in your program, you could have a module where you show that mom how to go find a godly male influence in her church community and sync the kid up with that godly male influence once a week, once a month, something like that. So that's how you could solve that constraint.
Okay. But you just don't think the getaways are a good idea.
Not yet.
Mhm. What about for adult men?
A getaway?
Yeah.
Once your business is at like 50 grand a month, then look at doing getaways.
Gotcha.
Yeah. You want to do first the blade, then the ear, then the full corn. A getaway is jumping into ear and full corn.
Gotcha.
And if you try to do that out the gate, you're going to make things so complex. And the other part of it is you're making it a lot harder for somebody to do the thing if they have to do a getaway, travel, time.
Right.
You got to plan it.
That's what I was worried about.
Versus you're doing this from your home in your underwear, right? So, so keep it simple. I love what you're thinking.
Okay.
I think you want to go after the parent, the single mom who wants to raise a godly boy, or the single dad, or even married people. Like, they don't have to be single.
Right.
And then
right.
if the mom is raising alone, then show her how to go find somebody who can be a dad, have a dad influence, or not a dad influence, have a male influence. Right. So here's how
Gotcha.
you do that. Go to your church. If you don't have a church, go to a church, or go to a big brothers club, or whatever. There's a lot of different
Right,
ways to do
right.
that. But I like that because now you're working to affect the kid's life through the parent, which is ultimately, for that age bracket, how it's got to be, really. Plus, the parent's the one that's going to pay you. The kid ain't.
Right. Right.
So just do that for now. Get that spun up. And then from that, the natural second and third order consequence will be live events, boot camps, retreats, and all that stuff that you want to do. But that's a little bit further down the horizon.
Gotcha. Thanks for the clarity.
Are you good?
Yes.
All right, Stephen, good to visit, man.
Oh, one more thing.
Yep.
Fix your clock.
It's that way on purpose, my friend. Now, the question is, do you know why?
No, I do not know why.
What did God
It's,
do
it's
for
5 o'clock
Joshua?
somewhere. Jimmy Buffett song.
No, it's 12. It's 12 o'clock. It's a couple minutes to 12. What did God do for Joshua?
Mm,
Go research that. Go look that
Gotcha.
up. I think you'll find it interesting.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Good to visit. All right. Next up, we have Travis. Travis, you are unmuted.
Just a minute here. Can you hear me?
I can, loud and clear, my friend. How are you
Right.
doing?
Good. How you, Paul?
I'm good. Let me read your thing here. Working through the niche and wondering if I'm thinking too big. Would like feedback on my ideas. Love it. All right. What you thinking, Travis?
Okay. I've been involved in business off and on, mainly the construction field, off and on, had my own business. Anyway, I was in business with my brother at one point, and we got to the point of burnout in business and got overwhelmed with business. I mean, we were profitable, we were doing good, but got burnout. So we ended up getting involved with a business coach, and he really turned things around. And I've always been excited about turning businesses around like that. When I saw what we could do. Anyway, I ended up selling my part.
Do
out to
that.
him and moved on, and that's where I'm at. That's what I want to do. It's
Do
been
it.
my dream for 10 years. Basically, currently I'm involved in a business where I'm in the back end, and I see everything. I'm pretty involved in all the back end of the business, $10 million business. So I see it all. But my biggest thing is basically right currently I've got a process I could take small. Basically, what I'm thinking is, being that I know the construction field, I'm looking at probably somebody 20 to 35 years old, been in business 1 to 5 years, maybe have 1 to 5 employees, go out in the truck every day to work, but yet know that they can't really grow. And my goal is to take somebody like that that's making probably 400 to 1.5 million a year, and being able to take them and take every single part of their business and put it in place so that they can step back and let it run by itself.
Do it. What do you, I mean, that's brilliant. That's amazing. What do you,
I guess I'm wondering, and probably it'll come clear once I work through I'm still working down through the niche, but that's just coming into this. That's kind of been my whole purpose.
well, do it. Yeah. I mean, you don't,
I'm just trying to, is it too big just to start with
No.
all pieces?
No. It's not too big at all, because you've done it. You've lived it. It comes second nature to you. So you're fine. You just need to, you're wanting to work with construction people. Is that what you're saying?
That's
or any
what,
business?
That's what I know. I mean, I could work with any, I mean, I know enough about the parts of the business. I could work with anybody, but I just don't want to get too big. I mean, I know how they work internally, that I thought maybe I should start there. I mean, I know their day-to-day process more than maybe a retail business, say.
So here's the deal is, do you feel like the construction business, with what's going on in the economy, is viable? Are there plenty of guys in that business range that are going to be still operative and active? And
My thing is, the ones that I think are going to stay in business are going to have to get really intentional with what they're doing.
love it. So here's the deal.
They're going to be out of business.
Yep. So you're golden. So go find these occupation construction workers and or construction or contractor support groups. Contract. What is the specific business? Is it a contractor that you want to?
Well, I would say anything in the contract. I mean, anything from a builder to a concrete guy to a plumber to anything involved in construction. I was a journeyman plumber for 10 years. I mean, I've been around that industry my whole life. Basically.
So pick one of those occupations to start. There's probably some support groups for these kind of guys and gals, and just start the engagement process. And then your mini offers will just be little mini pieces of the business that you can help them. Right? Like, I mean, you can probably whip off 10 of them without even thinking about it.
Mhm.
So this is the direction that you need to go in. This is brilliant. This is incredible. Very, very valuable to these folks.
I just wanted confirmation. I mean, it's been my dream for 10 years to do something like this. I just haven't
Oh,
had
you're confirmed. It's confirmed.
a platform.
Yeah, it's
to-
definitely confirmed because all those guys need, and it's just back to E-Myth 101,
Mhm.
which is they know how to work in the business.
Right,
They don't know
exactly.
how to work
Yeah.
on the business.
I've been there.
And so, yeah, you have, and you're going to help them. And your business coach is the one that taught you and your brother.
exactly.
The reason you were burnt out is because you were in the business. So your
Exactly.
coach is like, hey, you guys don't have to do all this stuff. He probably
Yeah.
gave you some systems, some best practices, some
Yeah, we went
frameworks
through
of
about
thinking.
every part of the business. Yeah. We.
Yeah. So that's an
Okay,
incredible
so
model.
here's the next, and maybe this isn't the time to even. I mean, this is probably worth a good chunk of money I mean, I just looking
Oh,
at it.
easy. Yeah,
Am I
but
right?
start low. Start with the
Oh,
blade,
yeah.
then the ear, then the full corn. So start with $5,000 or $10,000 and start helping these guys, getting some testimonials, and then you can bump your price.
All right. Hey, appreciate it.
Awesome,
Hey,
Travis.
I really appreciate this format because we can learn from everybody. I do appreciate this type of call format.
Yeah, that's why we do it. It's
Yeah.
really effective. So,
Love it.
all right, Travis, good to visit, man.
Have a great day.
Stuart. I keep lowering people's hands. Stuart, you are you are up. All right, Stuart.
Hello, Paul.
What is up?
Everything is up in God's
Good.
world. Okay.
So BMS and Facebook question. How can I help today?
Let's do the business mission statement. And I don't know if you have access. I think I put the tracker link.
Yep, let me take a gander.
Because I made a file that was helping me to put it together. So I'm trying to get confirmation on that.
Yep, let me take a quick look. Okay, so this all looks good. Summarize it for me in a sentence.
That would be the fourth line.
Okay, I help Christian IT start living in God's iOS. Love it. Done. Perfect.
Okay, I didn't know if
It's that simple. Like seriously, like the reason we fail is we overcomplicate it. And systems guys like you, we have that's part of our strength, but it can also be our weakness. So remember the business mission statement, you don't marry it and it's not done. You don't cast it in concrete. You write it in pencil, just enough so that you can go start finding these folks, deploying the engagement process and getting real-time market feedback. And from that feedback, you will then iterate, optimize everything else. So you have enough for the seed. You're golden, man. Proceed.
Okay.
Attack.
All right. So second question then, and that's what I put on my Facebook header. I haven't been on Facebook in years, but I have 1,000 people on there from my previous national trainer, self-help speaker, but they aren't this specific of an audience. And so the friend finder thing was like, clear out anyone that hasn't engaged in 60 days. Well, I haven't engaged in 60 days. So that would mean I would be starting at complete zero.
Hold on, let me interrupt. Who,
yeah.
What did you speak on?
Natural health and personal growth.
Did you say national health or natural health?
Natural health. Natural health.
Okay. Well, here's the deal, Stuart, is if you come up with an offer that aligns with those 1,000 people that you have as connections on Facebook, you'll probably start enrolling people within the week. If you reinvent the wheel, you're going to be starting from scratch.
Right. And that's okay. That's why I wasn't going to get very specific, but I wanted to follow the program. And so it said to be very specific. So I may have to broaden it if that's the case.
Well, you
But
can
it
be
does-
specific when you're hunting. So when you're hunting new people, but I would start to create some mini offers around what you used to speak on, because those people are connected with you because they were attracted to that. So if you could put together a high ticket coaching program around some of the pillars of what you used to speak on, you've got 1,000 people on your page, and you've got the Facebook algorithm programmed to those sorts of people. So I would just consider that. That's your lowest hanging fruit.
Yes, I would agree. That does lead to the next question, which would be in that group before, I delivered pretty high quality video courses with anyway, on top of being a speaker in front of crowds. And so I don't have that done yet. So if I put an offer out now, they would be expecting what I had years ago. And how would I respond if they say, yep, I'm ready to pay? Okay, well,
Well, hold on. So those videos, are those owned by you or somebody else? Were you speaking on behalf of somebody or an organization or something?
yes, I made those for my previous
Got it.
employer.
So I don't even worry about that. People don't care about video quality. They care about the content. So that's just that's a mental stronghold that you're worried about. That's not even a thing. If you can help somebody get a specific result, they don't care if you write it on a napkin and pencil. So
Okay, so
what
I
you
don't
don't
have
want to
to-
do is you don't want to be producing a bunch of videos without knowing that you have somebody willing to pay you. That's the wrong order. Most people do that order and then they get bogged down for years and they don't never get traction. So you always start with an offer. And then the first batch of people that you enroll, Stuart, you'll actually be working with them more one-on-one than you will be through the delivery of content in a course.
Okay.
And so if you're working with
Course
somebody
with
one-on-one, you can help them get results. I'm almost positive of it, right?
Okay. So I basically make the course with them one-on-one.
Yes, exactly. You
or
make the course
that-
as you go. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So you can repurpose. So let's say you do a session with somebody and they have certain questions, but you also know that other people will have the questions they've asked, but maybe a few more. Well, then you might answer those questions while you're training your person. And then that could become a lesson in your course. Or you might say, you know what, these 4 of my new clients have this question. Let me pull them onto a group call. I'll do 20 minutes of presentation, and then I'll open it up for 20 minutes of Q's and A's. And then that can become a lesson. So don't worry about high production value. It's literally, it's actually pointless.
Well, I have noticed that a lot of what you have is, basically the same thing. I could do the same thing. But
Yeah,
you're
it's
just
not
creating it live while you're talking to them. So that's
it. That's all you need. That's the best people in the business. That's how they do it. You can tell somebody who doesn't